Okay, in today's video about Cardano, I want to check out this whole part of the price action and tell you why in this area I'm actually now seeing some bullish signs suggesting maybe the bottom is in and this move up is going to maybe continue for quite some time. And also I'm going to show you some very important areas ahead of us so you know when we might get some sort of a move on the downside. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you are having a great time with your family and loved ones. And first things first, if you haven't watched the previous video about ADA, I would highly suggest go back and watch that video and then come back to this video so you can have a better idea of what is going on in this region. And if you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. Here is a quick summary. You see, I believe in ADA we are actually now bullish because from this point we are having wave 1, 2, 5 up into wave 3, correction for 4, and then this is, let me just do this, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure on the upside into wave 5. Now, what happens after a 5 wave up? You know it, a correction structure on the downside. That's why I believe this is actually a correction and it is quite a choppy move. Here is why. You see, let's just measure this move down timing wise. How long did it take? About, let's say, 17.5 days. On the other hand, in the same period of time, we had this move up starting from this low. So what's the message? For me at least, this means despite having way more than enough time, bears actually failed to pull the price all the way back down to these levels, and it means bulls probably do have the upper hand and we are indeed overall bullish. Do I have some other reasons? Yes. In this area in Cardano, I can actually identify the subwaves for a solid corrective movement, and I would say this is probably a WXY in form of a double zigzag to about the lowest low down here about 76 cents, and there is a chance that this point is going to be our final bottom. Why is that? Because you see, if you want to argue that the bottom is going to be in, for example, somewhere around this region, then okay, you must be able to find off of the lowest low in here 5 wave up, something like this. This specific example is a normal 5 wave. Rules for it are we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4 and in any kind of impulsive structure. Wave 3 should not be the smallest wave, and in terms of the sub waves, you know it, 5 wave up into wave 1, 3 and 5. There we go. And for wave 2 and 4 we can have different scenarios. Doesn't really matter. Let's say WXY into wave 4 and an ABC structure into wave 2. Understood? Okay, let's go now on the live chart and count some waves. And let's actually go on 15-minute chart so we can see the structures maybe a bit better. Let's zoom out more in here. Okay, so this point is the lowest low, and off of it, if you actually go on 1 minute chart, you can definitely identify a 5 wave up in here, followed by that a correction for wave 2, and then this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up into our wave 3, correction for 4, probably I would say in form of a flat structure, and then another 5 up into wave 5. So because of this, we can argue that there is a chance in ADA the bottom is going to be in, and after it, as you can see, this is clearly a choppy move down, which is a very important characteristic of a correction structure. So what's the idea here? If the bottom is in Cardano, we can argue this is maybe a wave 1, correction for wave 2, and at the moment we might be on our way to have a huge move up into wave 3, 4, 5 in order to just continue setting higher highs and higher lows. Now, in like very short term, we also do see some bullish signs in here. Okay, here is how I like to count the waves in this area. I can tell you, look, this is a wave 1. This whole move down might be a correction for wave 2. And at the moment, we are on our way to potentially complete the sub waves for our wave 3 and 4 and 5. And at that point, this 5 wave on the upside, this white one is going to be into this larger wave 3 and then correction for 4, another move up into wave 5. So what's the message? If we are actually bullish in Cardano, I just do not want to see us stop in here and, for example, have a deep move on the downside. In order to, this is a very important point, take this low right in here about, let's say, 83 cents. So if we take this low, that is actually not going to be a good sign. And at that point, we're going to say, you know what, maybe this is going to be like an ABC zigzag and not an impulsive structure. This is a very important point. We must have always an invalidation point for our bullish and bearish scenario at the same time. And in here, we are allowed to be bullish. That's fair enough. But that doesn't mean that we should completely be optimistic. No, we must always have an invalidation point for our scenario. And in Cardano's bullish case, it's going to be taking this low down here about 53 cents. And as long as we're not doing that, we are, I would argue, definitely more than fine. Now, here's the deal. If we want to continue our move on the upside, what are some important resistances ahead of us? Well, for the short term, I can point to two very important regions. Number one is actually right in here. You see, it is between $1 to $1.1 right in this area. There we go. Now, if we get a move up in Cardano, in order to go above this region, do a pullback and then a continuation of the move up, at that point we can say, okay, this region is broken and our move up can continue to where? To the next important resistance area, which was exactly why we got this move down overall in Cardano, starting from the highest side about $1.3. You see, this is an important resistance from weekly and daily time frame at the same time between, I think it was 1.3 to about 1.3.5 bucks. There we go. And again, you want to remember, in order to reach to about here, we first must get a break of this region, and then at that point we can say maybe we're gonna have from here another 20-25% move on the upside, and this is going to be the main obstacle for Cardano continuing its overall uptrend for the next couple of weeks. So let's have our final conclusion and wrap up today's video. In Cardano overall, we are looking optimistic, and I do believe this is a correction, probably a WXY, and the bottom can be in because off of the lowest low we can identify a 5-wave up. Now, what I want to see in ADA in order to be confident about having a bullish possibility in here is just a continuation of our move up in order to especially get back above this level, do a pullback and a continuation of this small uptrend. And at that point, I can tell you with a bit more confidence, look, odds are we are dealing with a 1-2 decent move up into wave 3, correction for 4, another move up into wave 5, and the bottom is indeed in. What I do not want to see in Cardano is actually from here or maybe a bit higher, doesn't really matter, a move down in order to take this low, because at that point, well, we're not going to be necessarily optimistic with the same amount of confidence that we are now. And we're going to say, look, there is a chance this might be, instead of an impulse, just a simple ABC zigzag. And from here, our move down may continue a bit more in order to take the lowest low also down here about, let's say, 76 cents. But as long as we are not doing that, I would say we are definitely allowed to be a bit more optimistic than before. And in the short term, your eyes should be on this very important level. And if we get a break of it, okay, at that point from here, we can expect another 20% move on the upside in order to reach to this main important and strong resistance area. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Cardano's chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.